And we're live. Welcome, everyone. This podcast is an alpha and may be subject to change. Joining me today, we've got down in the bottom left corner. You know him. He's here all the time. It's the Big T.
I don't know how to leave. He's hitting the doors. Where are the doors?
Someone mute him, please. Okay. You're not supposed to talk about that, Tef, okay? You're not
Secrets again out now. You can't hide it anymore.
Oh, for some reason, Zif is called Zolt, but we won't worry about that. Welcome, Zif, to the show.
Hello, I am apparently Zolt. I know where all the doors are since I'm never here, but I'm here this week.
There he is. He knows where he knows all the tricks, you know. He changes his name frequently, so I don't, I can't catch him. I'm just like, is it Zif or Zolt? I don't know. We'll never know. But yeah. This is the 15th episode of the podcast. We've been doing this for 15 weeks.
How?
I don't know.
We do shit.
Yeah, consistently. But yeah, there's a lot to talk about this week. We got some fun stuff. But to start off, what have we all been playing this week? Shall I start with Tef? Gonna be very brief.
You did that on purpose, didn't you? Because
I would never.
Scumbag. I've been playing Bioshock 2, but we already spoke about that, didn't we?
We did speak about that.
I'm not else to add to it, really. I've just been playing more of it. I'm near the end. And it's just kind of okay. But I'm more excited to get to playing Infinite now, honestly. And I don't think either of you guys did this, did you? But I jumped on the Flight Sim 2020 hype train, even though I don't care about flight sims at all, just because I wanted to, like...
I saw a lot of people talk about it. Apparently people went to that one island, that one guy who... What was his name? I don't know. Epstein, that one guy. He went to his island. I saw an article about that.
Crashed into it. Blew it off.
Oh, yeah. People have been having fun with it, and it's funny to see when the map breaks and the generation doesn't work properly. Like in Melbourne, there's one tiny little two-story shop, which for some reason in the game is represented by this giant monolithic tower, which just shoots up, but it's really thin and just goes up for like 1,000 stories.
Okay.
I saw one person likening it to the Citadel from Half-Life, just towering up. So yeah, it's been funny, and Buckingham Palace is a block of flats as well.
Interesting.
Oh,
I just wanted it just for the just to see the map generation, because everyone was talking about that, and it is cool to see. I've been slightly afraid to play it while we've had the heat wave going on, because it's hardcore.
Yeah.
I mean, I lost everyone's video for a second there.
Yeah, we lost you for a second. It's okay.
Yeah, it's like very sad. Yeah, it's what was I saying? Yeah, it's just, because it's like a next gen game and everyone's saying, oh, it's the new Crisis and it's really pushing people's computers and all that. And I can I can play just fine, like medium, at like 30, 40-ish FPS, and the frame rate really doesn't matter anyway, does it? But my God, it makes my fans go insane on my poor little laptop, which idles at like 60 degrees anyway, because it's a gaming laptop. So I was like, I don't really want to push this in the middle of a heat wave. I'll wait until it's a bit cooler to play more Flight Sim. So we played like an hour or so of it. And yeah. And besides that, I've just been...
I've wanted to play Flight Simulator games, but I feel like, I don't know, I'd only get so much out of it, I feel like it's one of those things you jump on for a little bit and then you jump out. You kind of need all the gear if you want to play one of those games,
Definitely.
You need like an actual cockpit in your room that you sit in while you play the game for the full experience.
The thing is, there's not really much to do in them. Once you take off, that's it. There's nothing to do until you land again.
Yeah,
it's like it's just there's not much. It's not like Euro Truck, where like you're constantly driving and it's kind of very relaxing, very like almost like meditational, because you're just following the road. But you're not even doing that. You just take off and then that's it. You don't even have to take off if you don't want to in Flight Sim 2020, because you can.
You don't even have to play the game if you don't want to.
You really don't have to. You can just hand the controls over to your co-pilot, which is all I did, and then I went into photo mode and just took pictures of like random places.
Fair enough. The game's playing itself.
The game just plays itself, John. The game's just playing itself. I think that's brilliant, to be honest, though, because I don't want to play the flight sim part, because I actually find playing is hard work.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. It's never appealed to. I like flying planes in games. Like I used to do it all the time in San Andreas as a kid. You know, be like just flying planes around, having a good time. That's all I did. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Something a sim like that doesn't really appeal to me unless I do have a whole cockpit to sit in and be like, here we go.
That's a dream.
One
But
day.
when I was in Japan, they have in like every arcade I went into, they had a train simulator arcade cabinet, which was just literally like an entire room that you walked into, and the whole thing was just a cabin of a train. So it was just like you were
That's
walking
awesome.
to like the cabin of a train, and then you just see like really nerdy looking guys in there just sat there going having a whale of a time. It's just so weird. They were huge. They were absolutely massive. Like walking full-size train cabs. Very cool.
That sounds interesting. I do want to just go to Japan and see all the wild stuff that's over there. You know, one day. But yeah, is that everything you've been playing this week then, Tef?
More or less, really. Besides that, I've just been playing like various Tony Hawk games, getting back into the groove because I'm still really hyped for the remake of Pro Skater 1 and 2 that's coming out. We're finally getting a good Tony Hawk game. It's been like 10 years. I'm so hyped. I don't know if you know about this stuff because this was I spoke about this last week. But the demo for the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake came out, and it's really, really, really good. And I immediately went and pre-ordered the game as soon as I played it because it's
Oh, damn.
so good. And it's like because for the past like 10 years, it's been made by this Robomodo who like have only ever made crappy like iOS games before, and then Activision just gave them Tony Hawk and they ruined it. But this remake is being made by Vicarious Visions, who they made Crash Insane trilogy, and they've actually made Tony Hawk games before. Back in the olden days, they used to do all the ports of Tony Hawk games. Them and Treyarch used to do all the ports of Tony Hawk games. It's just so good, and it's so funny because it was only 8 years ago that they did the last remake of Pro Skater 1 and 2, but because that was made by Robomodo and everyone just pretends that it didn't happen, they're just making it again now, but with a good dev.
Well, I
It's
mean,
good. I'm hyped.
hopefully it's as good as the Simpsons skateboarding. I look forward to it.
I'm not gonna dignify that with a response.
Where is it? I
Alright.
don't see it on Steam.
It is on PC. It's called Tony Hawk
Origin?
Pro Skater 1 plus 2.
I don't know.
No, it's an Activision game.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
know
sure it's on
where they
PC.
put it though. Like
Does
unless
that mean it's on? Oh,
I have it on PS4, so I'm not sure about where you get it on PC.
okay. Wouldn't be Battle.net, would it, if it's Activision?
I couldn't like they put Call of Duty on there, I guess. But
It's on.
it'd be weird
it's on
seeing Tony
EGS.
Hawk. It's on what, sir?
Of course, it's on EGS.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say Epic Games though.
Yeah, it's
Was
available on EGS.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, if you pre-order it, you get that demo. And when the demo came out, everyone was just going on about how good it was, and I was like, oh my god, it's a good Tony Hawk game. It's a good Tony Hawk game, and I immediately pre-ordered it and downloaded the demo, and I've put like 10 hours into that demo. And I've been playing all the older Tony Hawk games as well, and just
You know what?
getting. I'm so ready.
I really need to get a scene set up where I can play like gameplay footage while we're all talking, because I just really wanted to play the Simpsons skateboarding gameplay while you were talking about that the whole time.
You're a bad man. You're a bad man.
But yeah, if that's all you've been playing this week, I believe Zif might have a little to talk about. He might have played a singular game or two. It's been a while since we've had you on.
I mean, it's true. Been a few weeks.
So Zif, tell us, what have you been playing?
Well, two main games for the most part. I mean, in general, been playing a lot of Total War.
No, surely not.
No, I mean, I've been playing Warhammer 2, Empire, another one, and Troy. All of them at once, apparently. But
They all blend together.
Total War Troy A. Very distinct games, I'll have you know.
Okay.
Total War Troy came out recently. Um,
It was free.
I don't even. It was. It was like a week ago or something. It was free on Epic Games for 24 hours. And I'm not entirely sure why they made it free. I don't know. I don't know if they just are trying to garner interest in the series as a whole, or
Yeah,
if it's also partly because the first Saga title was awful.
It was my
wasn't much
impression that
faith
it was
in
a smaller game. That's I heard online that it was like it's one of a smaller game. It's not like a full Total War game. That's the impression I'd gotten.
Although that's the thing, isn't it? Although it's smaller in scope, it's £35 RRP.
Yeah, which is strange. I guess because it's also on Epic service. I don't know if Epic are like got some sort of deal going with them. I don't know what they're doing.
To be fair, it's because it's a Total War Saga title. For anyone who doesn't know what that is, they clearly defined Total War mainline games and then Saga titles, which are much smaller, focused games. There's only been 2 of them. The first one was Britannia, which was awful, annoyingly, because that was a period of time I really wanted to be good, but no, they messed it up. They tried to put in mechanics. They didn't. They tried to put in mechanics that just didn't work at all. So that was a major failure. But then this is the next one, Troy. Again, really focused sort of niche thing, going a bit more into mythological stuff, like because Warhammer is easily the most popular game they've ever made, which has brought in loads of people to the series. So they're drawing a bit on the mythos there, but only a tiny bit. It's only a few units in the game are like
what myth does it bring in?
Well, it's got like giants, harpies.
Oh,
I can't even. What else? Gorgons. Something else. Cyclops. A few other things. Just like standard Greek mythos. They're nothing like. Yeah, they're nothing like Warhammer units. They're no big giant lizard men killing people, but they are definitely stronger and they're quite special units. Like I've got giant archers, which are pretty strong. I think their arrows do a lot of knockback if I remember correctly. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was a pretty small game, and then I found out it's actually twice as big as I first thought it was. Because I didn't even realize you could play the Trojan factions. There's 4 more factions. Didn't even realize. Because it's not that well shown, but at the top of the screen there's like a tab for some reason. I guess it's actually how they did 3 Kingdoms. But there's a tab to go on the Trojan factions, and there's 4 more, and then all of them have unique mechanics. One of them can like commune with dead people. I don't know. I kind of want to play that. They can like if they come across like great heroes that have died in battle, you can like commune with them and like get stats or something off them. I was like, that sounds awesome. I need to play that guy. One of the others, they're all unique. You got Achilles, who is Anakin Simulator. I told you that, Zan, when you came on stream.
Yeah.
He just has like random tantrums and it affects his armies and stuff. He's a bit weird. I haven't played him because I played him for about 4 turns and then 5 nations declared war on me at once. So I was like, well, not going in. I went Sparta, which is, they're not that unique except for some reason any abandoned settlement on the entire map they can just colonize from range for some reason. It's a very strange mechanic.
From range?
So they can just, you don't even need an army. So they can just be a burnt settlement like miles away that an army is literally about to take, and you can just take it. It's great. It's such a BM tactic.
Okay.
And it's supposed to like get more expensive when it's far away. It's not expensive at all. I've got it across the map, and it costs barely anything. Don't know why it's a straight. I think that's like the weakest mechanic of all of them. You've got one who can have vassals and stuff, and then the final guy is Odysseus, and he's like quite a unique guy. He's got like really light skirmisher units, and he plays very differently. I didn't actually look at the Trojan factions that much. I know Paris has to have Helen with him everywhere he goes, otherwise he gets sad and cries. Some garbage. If she's not with him, all the time, he just starts breaking down. It affects the faction, and if she gets captured by another faction, you've got to do everything you can to get her back. But yeah, overall, I mean, I was expecting it to be like from the previous Saga title, which was a major failure. I thought it sounded like they were definitely going to make a better game, and you know, I thought it's going to be pretty good. It's a lot better than I expected, to be honest. for a Saga title, it's very good. I'm actually quite pleased with it. I've been playing it a lot on stream, as much as I can anyway. Every stream I do has been Troy. It's weird because a lot of it is based on stuff before Three Kingdoms. It's still the older engine before Three Kingdoms, but they've got a few things that Three Kingdoms brought in. They don't have its diplomacy system at all. It's still the much older one. Also, the diplomacy in this game is a bit botched. Like every single
So you can play it happen a lot. They come give you like a really weird trade, don't they? Like, hey, here's a really bad trade for you, and you're like, no.
Every turn, they're like, right, what you need to do, because gold is really rare in this, because it's set in the Bronze Age. They're like, you know what, that's not all the gold you're earning, which is very little, because they changed the whole resource system in this game. There's no just flat currency anymore, which every single Total War has always done. There's, I think, there's wood, gold, bronze, and food. Food being the main one for armies and stuff. But like you need to now focus on getting specific places because they get you the rare resources, bronze being the second rarest, and then gold is like very rare, but also gold depletes really fast. Like I think by turn 60, it's already depleted in my city, and I think it only gives 10 a turn now. So I don't know if that means across the entire map they're all depleted now. I'm guessing it does, which is a bit weird. So you get very little gold, so it's actually super valuable in trades, which is pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, he kept asking for like my entire gold income, and he was like, "Can I have your whole gold income for 500 wood?" I was like, "No." And he's like, "Birdman to get like 1,200 wood a turn." It's like, "No, why would I do that?" And he also wanted me to like give him every turn, but he just wanted to give me 500 wood once. I was like, "Why would I do that?" But no, they don't stop. They just keep asking you. Someone asks you these deals like every single turn.
Every turn.
And also, another thing is people ask you for non-aggression packs every turn, and this is the worst one because, like, right, for I'm this guy 12 million miles away on the other side of Greece. You don't even know who I am. I could just be at some pauper on the street. You're going to make a non-aggression pact with me. But what you're going to do is, right, this is a great deal. You're going to pay me 10k wood a turn and all your gold, and we can have a non-aggression pact. And they do that every 10. And it's great.
It just sounds like
okay. It is meant to work. It's like, okay, that sounds like a wonderful deal, but unfortunately, I can't take that right now.
I noticed when playing Endless Space 2, which you recommended to me, when I was playing that, everyone wants non-aggression pacts, and if you agree to them, then it's just this huge army just floods right in, surrounds your capital planet, and then suddenly you get a pop-up saying, "I'm not sure about this non-aggression pact anymore." You know, like the amount of times they try to pull that stuff.
That's a good strategy.
They've literally done that to me in Troy. I don't know. You can't usually just break non-aggression pacts. I don't think you can, but I'm onto them. They're playing a game. The AI. I've noticed that they spam you non-aggression packs every 10. And I was like, I'm not sure why you're doing this. And every single time, I think 4 different major nations have done it to me. Every time after spamming it for like 20 turns, they declare war on you. So I'm figuring it out now. It's just this little game that they play with you, and eventually, it basically, who's going to declare war on you because they want to have peace. And I was right. I was like, you know what? It's happened about 3 times. It's fine. It's probably nothing. And there's this guy I was going to invade for ages, and he kept trying to do it. I was like, right, in a few turns, I'll deal with this mess. I'll be ready to get him. No, he declared war on me immediately after trying to do a non-aggression pact with me for like the 50th time. So that was fun. So the diplomacy is pretty botched. I'm not going to lie. It's also weird because there's no trade system at all, unlike all the other games, because it's like a before much of an established currency. It's just bartering, so you can only trade resources. You can't just set up a trade deal that gives you flat income because there is no flat income anymore. But yeah, for the most part, the battles are pretty much the same. Siege warfare isn't as interesting because there's like no siege weapons developed. It's like, oh, here's a battering ram, which looks cool, and that's it. Actually, no ladders as well. You can actually. It's at the very end of the tech tree, and it takes a while to get there. I haven't got it yet, but one day I'm going to get it. I have to get it. It has to be experienced.
You do need to make it happen.
I do.
That's the end goal.
It's so funny that like It's literally the most famous thing about the Battle of Troy is that it's a siege and you can't siege properly. I know
Yeah.
they don't really do much sieging, to be fair, do they? But you know, it's about sieging a city. It's like, no, you can't do that. There's a
Yeah.
horse.
It's just the sieging. It's a bit weak, but it has been for a while in Total War. They've sort of moved away from it a little bit, even though it's very cool. But yeah, I think other than that, it's a pretty good game. The battles are okay. The AI seems fine. I really like this new resource system. I think it could be a bit more refined in certain areas. It can be very tough to get food. It's hard. It's really hard to get large armies to take on good old Hector. He is just OP. I did this went to do this little backdoor maneuver on him, sailed all the way over. It was great. I was going to do this little hit and run tactic, burn all the cities down. I took one and then went up north a bit, and he turned up about 5 ships, and he has these broken units, which are all like max rank. They cost him less. They're faster. Just everything imaginable, and they're all called like Hector's Chosen. I was like, oh god, no, please.
I mean, let this be a lesson.
Exactly. And you can actually play him and get those cheaper units. Just seems ridiculous. But yeah, I can't go near him right now. He's a scary boy. Hector. Also, Paris and actual Troy itself just vanished from my game for some reason. They don't exist anymore.
What?
It's just Hector. I don't know what happened to
It's
them.
always been
There can
Hector.
only be one.
But when I went over there, Paris actually turned up in a fleet, and I was like, I said it on the stream. I was like, hold on, I thought you were dead. Where'd you come from? So even though he's supposed to be a faction, Paris was just, I don't even know, he was just there. He's like, he merged into Hector for some reason. I don't know what was going on there. I might know if I actually play them. Maybe something happens, or he just, I don't know. Maybe Hector killed him. Who knows?
Good old Hector.
But yeah. And then I think the final point is the map is absolutely gorgeous. It's easily the best looking map they've ever made. Considering you spend quite a lot of your time looking at it. I'm quite surprised they put quite a lot into the map for a Saga title, but it just looks fantastic. The water quality is excellent. The whole terrain looks very unique compared to anything they've ever done. It's more realistic, whereas Three Kingdoms was a bit stylized. Even if you went in the realistic mode, it wasn't semi-stylized. I think a lot of people are calling for it to have naval combat, especially with the Aegean being a real Greece in general just being a huge staple of early naval warfare. But Warhammer Total War just won't bring back naval combat, and they haven't done since Shogun 2 for some reason. I don't know why. They just won't bring it back, even though it was actually pretty good. Yeah, it's a bit of a sad time.
I might need to try it at some point. I do have it. I picked it up.
Yeah,
it's good. Oh, it also doesn't have multiplayer.
Oh,
well.
Yeah, they didn't put co-op campaign or anything in it because again, it's a Saga title. They only put so much work into it. But yeah, sadly, I feel like that's another thing. It's like, oh, if you enjoyed this free game, you can go and play a co-op if you buy one of the full games.
I mean, speaking of Shogun and stuff, that isn't the only game you've been playing this week, is it, Zif?
That's segue.
mm-hmm.
Segue for me, thanks. No, it's not. And Troy's great and all, but get that out of here. We've got something more important to
Throw
talk
that to one
about.
side.
That could just die somewhere. Troy's old news now, even though it's newer than this game. Doesn't matter. Ghost of Tsushima, finally got my hands on it, and I'm enjoying it a lot. 10 out of 10. Okay, maybe not 10 out of 10, but it's very good.
I've heard a lot of people say it's their game of the year. Like a lot of people.
It's good. Like, I've spoken to you and Tef a fair bit about it, because there's a lot of people like criticizing the story and its tone and stuff like that. But the main thing is a lot of people are just expecting it to be this mold breaker. I was saying this to Tef, and I don't really
just heard people describe it as better Assassin's Creed. Like,
that's basically what it is. I said that to Tef as well, and Tef was like, that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
it is. I
mean, not only that, but you don't have to support Ubisoft.
Exactly. And now AC basically can't do the long-awaited AC Japan, and if they do, I can guarantee it won't be as good as this game. So they're just kind of screwed now, so they can enjoy their Vikings, even though I'm going to buy that game. But
didn't we have like Assassin's Creed Japan or China? Didn't we have like a 2D one?
We had there was a Chinese 2D one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't count.
Russia and India were the other two. yeah, whatever. I don't know. They
Not
haven't done
mainline
Japan
games.
yet. At least we got Egypt. Hey, that was a good one. But yeah, I don't know if AC's ever going to go into it now, to be honest, because they still outclass them if they do go into it. Its stealth is pretty similar to AC, but just better than it. Just flat out better. Just better. Just the whole game, just better. The like you can still throw wind chimes and stuff, make them go to places. You can't move bodies. I think that's the main difference to AC. Yeah, but I mean, again, it's a little less silly than AC. It is stupid, and you can just lug around massive bodies of Mongol invaders in full samurai armor. It's a bit silly, but if you play it right, I mean, I'd say the stealth's more difficult than AC as well. As long as if you're not paying attention, you can easily get spotted and stuff. And there's flipping eagles flying around that spot you and stuff. They're annoying. They make me angry because I'll nearly clear a place and there's a stupid eagle on my head.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I try to aim a bow at it and it's just so awkward. And I shoot it and I miss and that's it. Then there's an eagle squawking at me.
If it goes wrong, you can always just be like, all right, let's stand off time.
I mean, it's true. I mean, well, you can't stand off once it's like already initiated. Also, I think standoff is really inconsistent. It's really weird when it wants to come up. Like half the time you're approaching the gate and it's like standoff. It's like, oh, I'll go to press it and it goes off. It's like, and then they're like, they start alerting onto you. It's like, standoff, come back, and it just doesn't, and they start attacking you. Whereas other times it comes on and off like 50 times. It's like, you keep trying to press it and it goes away and then it comes back again. I don't really know what it wants because sometimes you just walk straight up to them and it won't do it. And other times you're just chilling in stealth. It's like, do you want to stand off? It's like, okay, sure.
I guess.
It is nice though because unlike other stealth games where it's like, I don't know, one guy sees you and like this entire massive complex that wouldn't even have heard of it probably is like, oh, there he is. It's a bit more contained than that. You can generally fight a small part of the garrison and the entire garrison won't know about it. The only way they'll know about it is if an archer sees you or if you end up running into them during the fight, which I've done before. I was in a fight. It's like, I could take a few guys, and then I accidentally got seen by other guys. I was like, okay, I'm going to back off from those guys, and then went into the third group of guys behind me. I was like, well, this is not going very well. Somehow I actually beat them, but it took a very long time, and they kind of got stuck around this fence on this like shoreline. It's very weird. But yeah, in general, the stealth's great. The animations are fantastic. It's very brutal. There's a lot
the
of
art direction in general is really nice for that game. What I've seen.
It is. And because you upgrade your Tanto, I think it is, to assassinate faster and quieter. So I had the mid-level, which the animation's a lot faster. Some are very brutal. And it's also kind of cool because it's like he's getting better at assassinating because he's never done it before. And I've got the final one now, but that was like when I stopped playing, so I haven't actually seen how fast the animations are. But I do know like some of them are just so brutal, and I mean, I've only got a base PS4. I don't have a Pro, but even just the blood quality looks fantastic in the assassinations and stuff like that. It was a bit annoying because it doesn't let you do door kills for a while when they're standing through the paper screen doors. And I didn't know if that was ever going to become a thing. I was like, can I unlock it? And then just randomly in a mission it unlocks. I was like, okay, that was kind of it's very needed. But yeah, you get it not too far in. But yeah, in general, especially that the main combat as well is like 50 million times better than AC could ever hope to do.
That's a big thing that I've heard as well.
I mean, I do it more than stealth, definitely. Some missions, definitely, I don't mind doing stealth, especially since you can quickly swap between outfits and just turn into this awesome, like, cloak flapping in the wind, which looks very good in this game. Straw hat on, just this mysterious traveler coming down the road, and you just slaughter a bunch of Mongols. It's great. And then other times I'm just in full samurai armor with the mask on. And yeah, the combat's fantastic. It's got 4 different stances of how to use the katana based on which enemy you're fighting, which it's not just this throwaway mechanic. It is actually very important if you want to do fights well. If you take a few guys, you can probably be okay. But if you're taking, especially when you get to there's like tougher versions of spearmen and stuff, you really do need the better forms. The spear form was really annoying me. I can't remember. I don't know if that's moon stance. I can't even remember. No, it's wind stance. That was really annoying me because it's garbage when you first get it. And spearmen were driving me insane because you cannot parry them at all. Every single attack they make is an attack you have to dodge. Because you've only got to, like, they say that immediately though, like it's in a flashback when you're getting trained as a kid. They're like, yeah, you can't fight spears, by the way. It's like, oh, okay, that's nice. And yeah, you can't. They're just so annoying. And I think one thing that annoys me in combat is enemies really like to just fly forward when they're in an animation. Especially spearmen, they'll always do like a jab, and then you'll roll back, and they'll just like fly at you across the battlefield and do a second jab, and it annoys me. I don't like them. But I upgraded spear form, basically, except 10 times more annoying. I upgraded spear form. It's got this weird kick on it. It's weird because it's against spears, but it's a short range stance. Don't know, but it's got like this big kick in it, which like throws them back, and you can instantly kill them. It's a bit awkward to get off sometimes. You got to time it right. But once you get into the third upgrade for it, if you heavy attack in that stance, which I think only heavy attacks are actually stance attacks, it auto parries any spear attack, which is just like broken. So they're like so much easier to kill then. Because they'll go into to interrupt. The main thing is they always interrupt you before you can get things off. But once you got that, they're dead. They don't exist anymore. I was very satisfying because I hate them. Not gonna lie.
How does the actual combat flow, by the way? Like, is it? I've heard some people say it was a bit like the Arkham games in a way, in how smoothly it moves between enemies.
Yes, I guess you could say that. Yeah, I'd say it's not quite as smooth as Arkham. Arkham is very good at its multi-enemy combat, but it is close. It's not like when you're attacking them and the animations of executing, it doesn't fly between them quite as well, but it's still good. You can easily take parry and dash between multiple guys. I've had some pretty tough fights, and I'd say the only thing is stance selection is not as fast as I'd like it. So it's R2 and then the symbol buttons.
Is there like a second delay between switching as well?
There is a second delay. The UI needs to come up more before you can do it. Whereas there's a lot of times where I just need to very quickly just tap it for the button to change stance. It doesn't recognize it. And it's annoying because sometimes I'll think it has and I'm still in the wrong stance and I'll take a hit. And especially early on, at the very beginning, 3 hits and you're dead. Later on, you have more things that let you heal. But that's like my main complaint about combat, I think, is just I wish that was like could really quickly read what you're trying to do. A
limitation of the console, of the controller.
Maybe it's, it is just that. I wish it was a little faster and it'd be great. But yeah, it is smooth and the executions just feel great when you kill people and the parries feel very good. When you get a proper parry, because you can parry them and you sort of throw them to the side, but if you get a proper parry, it like slows down time for a moment as an epic effect. And a lot of time you can get almost an instant kill, especially when you get stronger. And if it's on the weaker guys, you can just get this instant slash on them and it just looks so good. Just the blood and everything. And sometimes the other Mongols are like freaked out. They're like, whoa. Especially if you've like killed a group of enemies, it's like fear starts building. And sometimes if you kill a whole group, the last guy will just fall on his back and start like scooting away from you. It's great. And you can just walk up to him and instant execute him and stab the sword into him. And I believe that they said that gets better. Like as you become more and more the ghost and as you get known, that happens more. It's mainly like combat at the moment, but the more you become the ghost and assassinate, it builds that fear, which is very cool.
Do you have a choice between that, by the way? I remember in like the advertising there was a little confusion whether it was like a choice and becoming more like the ghost or being more of just the samurai.
I'm not gonna lie, it was risky because I could have got spoilers, even though it's not like this big flipping Death Stranding plot. But I did look it up very quickly because that's I hate like karma systems and stuff, and that would really annoy me. So it's like, right, I have to know if I'm being ghost, is it actually affecting the ending? It doesn't. The story just assumes you're being a ghost more and more. And I get it. It's kind of annoying. So it's like, I kind of wish I could just stay honorable, but at the same time, I'm just contradicting myself because karma systems, especially Dishonored, annoy me when it forces me to do a certain way to get the good ending. So no, you can do whatever you want. You can samurai as much as you want. I mean, a lot of the time I do both. I'll stealth a bunch of people, and then you can just stand off the rest of them and murder them. The only time it's riskier is when they've got hostages, because they will just execute the hostages if they know you're there. It's not an instant failure state though, thank God. It does take them time to execute, and it's got a symbol that they're going to execute them, so you can rush over there, but it's very annoying because I've had it before when I'm fighting like 6 guys, including a big chunk leader boy, who are very annoying. And you're constantly just dodging everywhere, trying to avoid a million spear attacks coming across the map. Also, archers are shooting at you, and they're very annoying because they're just constantly in the background shooting at you when you're trying to parry everyone else. Thankfully, there is an unlock that lets you parry them if you hold block. Thank God, otherwise it'd be the worst thing in the world.
Yeah,
I feel
you
like
can't
that's
exactly
just
ninja run in
essential.
that game, and
No,
parry
there is
everything
like
out
a
the air.
sprint slash on them, but you're not like some riding. You can't just charge at them. I usually will go for them very quickly, but they are still annoying, especially in big fight. We can't actually get to them. And I was in this really annoying fight at the end of Act 1. There's just a bunch of them, and there's loads of leaders, and I was with this companion, and she kept getting downed in a building. I was like, help me! And she had a timer on to revive her. I didn't actually need to let her in that area, and next time I wouldn't, because she's like waiting outside the gate. She just happened to get stuck in this room, and she kept dying, and then she needed reviving. And then there's another time where a prisoner was about to get executed, and I'm constantly parrying everyone, and a guy keeps going over to execute him while I'm getting slaughtered by everyone else.
Yeah, I can imagine it goes
jump
like
over
that.
to hit him once or twice to cancel him executing them. It can be stressful, but for the most part, especially as I've upgraded more, it's fine. I'm getting a lot better at the stealth now. At first, I wasn't used to not moving bodies and stuff, and I was getting bodies were getting spotted. But yeah, I think the main thing that's a bit weird with the stealth system is there's absolutely there's no way to tell if your, let's say, notoriety has stopped, if they've stopped searching for you. There's absolutely no UI that tells you. The only way you can know, because you've got
visual or sound cue for it.
Like the only just flat out obvious way you can tell is you've got enhanced hearing, which lets you see them through walls. Basically, the only way you can tell is if their animation just snaps, sort of, and they just go back to what they were doing. That's the only way you can tell. There's zero indicator that you're actually being looked for, and zero indicator that they've stopped looking for you. It's a bit weird. I think that's the only weird choice with the stealth. I don't mind it because it's still pretty obvious when you're being discovered, because they'll see a body and then they usually blast a horn, and then everyone else will start looking around. But then, yeah, you just sort of wait, and then you just have to keep watching them to see when they go back to their animations. It's a bit of a strange choice, but once they all go back to what they were doing at the same time, so it's not that bad. Whereas I know other games in stealth, some of them will keep looking longer than others. But in this, they just all snap back to what they were doing.
I guess from what I saw from Ghosts, it's gone for like a very minimal approach when it comes to stuff like that. So it doesn't want like a big blaring alert on the screen or anything.
Yes, there is also an option to just remove most of the UI. I haven't actually tried it, so I don't know how much it removes. And the UI is fairly minimal anyway, especially since most of it comes up on button presses, like the stances. Because stances on the D-pad also brings up quick fire weapons, the kunai, and 2 bombs. I think something else. And then left trigger brings up the bows and thrown items. But other than that, there's not usually that much on the screen. Even objectives aren't on the screen unless you use the wind indicator if you swipe up on the touchpad.
Yeah, that was a big selling point for the game, wasn't it? If I remember.
Yeah, it's very nice not just having this, it's over there. I've discovered a lot of things naturally by following like the birds and seeing steam rising from hot springs. They also have red trees around them. There's a lot of natural discovery rather than waypoints. As you take places, you will see markers on the map as well that you can go to, but I'd say it's like 70% of stuff I've discovered myself, and other things I've seen there's a question mark and I've gone to it. But even then, it's still just you follow the wind. You sort of take your own route. It's not just
that's cool.
There's a trail on the floor, or there's a big marker with meters till you get there. It only shows meters like in a very small objective thing in the top left, which only appears every time you swipe up for the wind to come in again. So yeah, it is pretty minimal in its UI, which is very nice.
Yeah. I mean, I think the question is, Ghost of Tsushima or The Last of Us 2 for Game of the Year? What will the choice be?
Well, I don't
Sure
know.
that won't cause any controversy.
No, none at all. Yeah, and I mean, like Act 2, not that far in. Like the first thing I did was like get your family's armor. He's like, you could do these things, or you can reclaim your armor. Your armor's about 20 billion miles away on horse, but I was like, no, I'm doing that instantly, because why wouldn't you do that? That was a nice storyline. Yeah, I think the story's definitely serious. But I do like Jin, and I think a lot of the side missions have a lot of heart in them. There's a lot of heartwarming moments and good like recalls of his old life when they weren't invaded and things were nice. Yeah, there's those wholesome moments.
Before the dark times came.
Yeah, and there's a really good vengeance side story as well. Where you're helping this like sort of matriarch of a clan get vengeance, and she's very angry, and just with her missions, or forget stealth, she just gets a katana out and runs at people saying, I will avenge my family. It's great.
Yes.
She's like an old warrior, and she's like really respected, and she just doesn't care. She just beats people up and murders them. It's great.
You're not a samurai unless you have a vengeance arc at some point in your life, you know?
It's true.
Very true.
It's very true. But yeah,
So
overall.
Sorry,
I was gonna say,
you would.
No, I was just going to say overall, I'm enjoying it a lot. There's very little about it that I don't like. The world is absolutely just beautiful. One of the best worlds I've had the pleasure to walk around in. Just with how natural it feels, and how I don't know how it's been this long that we finally have like a sort of not Sengoku period. It's not quite there yet, but feudal Japan. I don't know how it's been this long. We finally have like a AAA feudal Japanese game, but it's great.
I feel like we've had some. Or like sets.
Maybe, but not like properly, and not on this level. It's just so satisfying. Yeah, that's why I do the samurai combat a lot, because it just feels fantastic, and the animations are all great, and every stance also has all its own animations, and it's a good time. I like it a lot.
All right, Tef, what were you gonna say?
I was going to say that it's helping me get off the fence with this game, because I still can't decide whether I want to play it or not. Really on the fence about it, but yeah, you're really helping me shift towards. I just don't want to pay for it. It's expensive. AAA games are so expensive, and I keep buying them this year. Buying so many. But so Mr. Zan, so what arcade have you been arcading this arcade?
Well, I've been doing a lot of arcade. I'm not gonna lie, guys. So much arcade. It's
shock horror.
It's tearing me apart. Tearing me apart, Lisa. Yeah, I've been doing this one new well, not new, it's like a new season of this one dungeon that I've been trying to get a guide video out for, and you only get 2 entries a day, and it's a pain to do, but we're literally on the last round, and I'm gonna get it tomorrow. Apart from that though, forget arcade. I have been playing one new game this week. I played a little bit of Rogue Company, which is the new competitive third-person game that's been going around. Third-person shooter. It's fun. It's good. It's nice and smooth. I've seen a lot of people have been playing on Twitch lately. I think they did a big promo for it and paid a bunch of streamers to play it. I was not paid, which is very sad, and I played it anyway. But it was good. I enjoyed it. It's essentially just think CSGO, Valorant, but in third person. It has other game modes as well. One of the other game modes is there's like 2 objectives that you have to capture, and each team has a certain amount of lives, so people could die, but they can come back until the lives for that team runs out. So you can either eliminate the enemy team or get enough points from hacking the other objectives, and that's kind of the goal of that game mode, which is a really fun one, because it's a nice smooth third person shooter where you can just jump in and like, I don't know, you can jump in and play a few rounds. It's all hero based as well, so there's different characters they'll have different types of weapons and different, you know, like one of them's got a katana that she uses, and then she also has like a throwing knife that is also explosive. So she puts that down. She can throw that as like a trap. So I threw it on like the bomb. So when a person came around to try and defuse the bomb, they just blew up, which was pretty great. It has a lot of neat stuff like that, but it is your standard third-person shooter, but it's smooth. That's one thing I can say about it. It feels really good to play. I've not gotten too deep in, so I'm not like really knowledgeable on the game. I know Zolt has played a lot more than me, and he could probably say a lot more on it, but it is really cool. I know there's been a lot going on with it recently. Like I think Dr. Disrespect's making a map for it. I saw that on Twitter.
What?
Yeah, I saw it on stream when I was watching him when he actually said, I think I could design a map for this.
Yeah, so they had like, I think they've got like a whole promo deal where he's getting paid to make a map for the game that they're gonna put in the game. Which is interesting.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a nice little thing because I mean, again, he was actually a map designer for stuff, so it's interesting to see that coming together. I want to see what else they do with the game. I think they put in a new game mode as well recently. That's like domination from Call of Duty. That's what Zolt said, at least. I don't remember what domination was. I think that was just points. Like,
I don't.
That's holding flags for points, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it was.
And
something
move
like
every now and then.
So yeah, Zolt said it was that, and I was like, I remember what domination is in Call of Duty. Yeah, I remember Call of Duty.
I know Zolt's enjoying Rogue a lot.
Yeah, I only played. Like the last Call of Duty I played was Black Ops. I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
Yeah, but Zolt has been enjoying it a lot. He was gonna make videos on it, but I don't know what he's doing. He's just, you ask him any, and he's just like depressed, and I'm like, okay, cool.
Is he depressed because he sold his soul to WoW Classic?
It's true. I mean, he's doing that like he's raiding 4 days a week, and the other few days he's actually setting up for raids.
Yeah.
I can't.
Every time he talks to me now, he's like, "Oh, sorry, I can't talk right now. I've got to spend the next 8 hours of the next 5 days gearing up for this raid."
Those gloves he got are definitely like Frostmourne. They're just draining the good from him.
There's nothing left. So if it's already too late for him.
Yeah, he's just a zombified corpse now. I blame his guild. His guild sound cutthroat. They're like, we demand that you grind for 8 hours a day, or you're out. You're out on your ass, son.
Yeah, they've got.
And they're chill apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, it's like, oh, they're so chill, they're so relaxed. If that's what the relaxed guilds are like, what the hell are the like serious ones like?
I mean, I do know there were like people. I mean, his guild sounds he was like, yeah, we take shifts collecting like the Scarab Lord stuff. And I'm like, what do you mean you take shifts? Like, that's not a casual guild. But that's not Rogue Company. I don't know how we got there. But yeah, I mean, I would, if you want to actually pick up Rogue Company, you can pretty easily get a key by just watching a Twitch stream of it. I got it almost instantly. And other than that, you can buy into the beta, and it gives you like, some skins, and you also unlock some of the characters. But the game when it launches is going to be free to play anyway. So
don't be a mug.
Yeah, so don't pay. Who would pay for the game? Imagine paying for the game. No one on this podcast could. But yeah, that's all I played, I guess. I was supposed to do indie game night, but had some issues with the internet that night. I may or may not be changing ISPs at the end of the month. It's going to be good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, play the tiniest violin for me, Tef, please. But yeah, so hopefully that'll all be good. I did find some really cool looking indie games, so I'm looking forward to playing them as well. Might even start. I'm thinking of doing like a little video series on my channel now on just indie games as well, just because that'd be a nicer thing to do as well. On top of the arcade, a little break from it all. The grind.
Some indie games.
Yeah, gotta love a few.
It's a bit more chill.
But yeah, that is everything I've played this week. Other than, I guess I played League. What else have I played? Is there anything else that comes to mind?
No.
No, probably not.
Not that I know of.
I mean, Jack 2 is fun. That's the Ratchet and Clank.
Not true. Not true. It's a damn good game, though. It's a damn good game.
It is a good game.
Been really enjoying playing it. I really enjoyed our last session, actually.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
A small head mode, yeah.
Oh, do we?
I don't think we do, actually. We must be really close, though. We got loads of orbs. Remember, there was like that one level where every time we went through a doorway, if you looked on the left and right hand side of the doorway, there was 2 orbs there, and that happened like that happened twice, and then we kept finding orbs just randomly scattered throughout the level anyway. Like it just wasn't even hiding them. One of them was in the path that you were walking down, just right there.
Yeah. We had a little struggle on that level as well, where we just didn't. The bugs had like a mark on them that we just couldn't see, because it only shows up at the start. And chat was shouting at us.
Oh yeah, we were defeated by just the easiest puzzle in the world. We were completely defeated by it.
Both times I was just looking away from the screen when it showed you which ones we were supposed to get, and then chat was just like, no, underneath them, and I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I don't know. I don't understand.
No, they weren't saying underneath them, because that would make sense. Chat was going, look at the bugs behinds. So we were like looking at their asses. I'm like, there's nothing there.
Like they all look the same. Just thought we were both blind, but yeah, Jack's a lot of fun. League's League, That's like you need a little bit of just torture in your day. You're just like, you know what, I feel too good today. I'm gonna play some League. That's what League is. Zif can agree.
Yeah. I'm thinking of going into starting solo queue tonight as well, so pray for me.
Oh, I've been thinking about doing it as well. I've been like, do I do some solo ranked?
Duo queue.
I mean, we could do that. We could do that as well.
Let's just look. Some sign it works.
But
you won't get your kills, but I'll invest them well. Don't worry.
I mean, hey, as long as I hit diamond, we'll get diamond easy peasy. But yeah, that's all I've been playing. Other than that, I'm trying to think. I'm sure there was one other thing. I've just been watching a lot of Fall Guys. I don't know if anyone's watched a lot of Fall Guys. Fall Guys is just looks like such a fun game.
I've not actually seen anything on it. Like, obviously, I know a lot about it, and I've got a lot of friends who are playing it, but I've not watched any of it.
I kind of
don't want to spoil it, because if I do get it, I don't want to know what the games are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's too late for me. I was watching Tim the Tatman get his crown. It was a fun experience to watch live. Because I don't know, the marketing for that game has been really good. Like the person handling the socials, they've got it down. It's the perfect game for brands, because every brand wants in on it. It's like, oh, this is a cute, fun game that is completely PG and it doesn't have guns. There's no violence. It's just a fun little game show. Everyone wants in on that. All the advertisers are like, let's go. Put me in as a skin.
Yeah, I've been following that media account for like a year, and it's always been great. And I've just been following it for ages, waiting for it to come out. I remember I told you not long before it came out, and you're like, what's that? I was like, it's like sort of a perfect thing that we play on a stream.
Yeah. The only I think
for a stream. Oh god, I didn't think of that.
That's why I'm tempted to pick it up. I just feel like it would just be a lot of fun to play, honestly.
It's just like speedrunners kind of thing. Just screw each other over.
Because you know me, I'm going to be at the finish line waiting for people to come along, and I'm just going to be grabbing them and throwing them off the ledge while laughing maniacally.
Yeah,
that's what's going
to happen. I saw the
happen.
funniest thing when I was watching someone stream it, and they were on this bit. It's one of the modes being spoiled for your ATF. It's like sort of just a standard floor puzzle. A lot of the floors drop away, like panels drop away, and there's only one route through it. That classic thing. Everyone
tries to throw each other off on that one.
They got all the way to the end. There's a few more choices to then jump over to the finish, and no one would go. It's like 20 people just sitting there. And they're like, the streamers are like, are we going? And then just this one guy sprinted in from the corner of the screen and just did this epic yeet jump onto the final panel. And it was the right one. And then he just like failed jumped the last bit to the end and just died horribly. But it was so heroic, and he saved them all. It was beautiful. It's so beautiful. I think they made a YouTube clip of it with like a black and white slow-mo sad music, as he's jumping onto the final panel. It's great.
That's definitely a damn I don't know moment, you know.
It is.
Actually.
But yeah, I might pick up Fall Guys at some point. That's probably listen. I got some money for Fall Guys. I can pick it up. It's pretty cheap.
I'm tempted now. I'm quite tempted now. Not gonna lie.
But yeah,
how much is it?
I think it's like 15 quid or something.
16, 17 pounds.
It?
16 pounds. Yeah, I've actually got the tab open right now.
Amazing.
I've just been looking at it the whole time, just hovering over the buy button, like, do I do it?
I've already dropped £40 on a Tony Hawk in the last like week. So,
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
It'll be worth it.
But yeah,
Don't even have that game yet.
We've just hit the hour mark anyway.
So we have.
So we can go to a quick break before we come back to the news, if we're all good with that.
Yeah.
The final thoughts. All right. So we'll be back in 10 minutes. We'll come back with all the fun gaming news, because there's a lot of fun gaming news coming up. So don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back. And we're back. Welcome back, everyone. Now, moving on to the gaming news. The fun gaming news. I love the game industry. It is so fun, filled with fun gaming news.
Only ever good news about the industry.
We'll get to the fun news at the end. I think we'll save the fun news for like towards the end, you know, maybe midway, but we'll put it in there somewhere. But to start off, there's been some rumors floating around, hasn't there, Zif?
There has. It's kind of a continuation of rumors that we've had for a while about Switch Pro and stuff like that. Obviously we've got the Switch Lite, but there's still always been rumors of a Pro or an enhanced console, and I think we've just had a little more possible news towards a new Switch next year, I guess. It's when they plan it. There's very little detail in this rumor, other than apparently it's supposed to have upgraded interactivity. Not entirely sure what that's got talking about, to be honest with you. But also an improved display quality, apparently. But there's also absolutely no hint of like specs or if it would have upgraded power or whatever, or if it's, you know, not just another rumor about a Pro model that's not happening.
Yeah.
Did they say, because remember they said that they went through, you know, they've said its lifespan is going to be still ages, but they said they weren't going to do another one. But did they just say they weren't going to do another Pro? Because obviously they brought out the Lite. I can't remember what they originally said.
I don't know what they said.
There were rumors in the past about a Pro, and they stamped out those rumors at the time. That's not to say there won't be one later. It's just they said we're not making a Pro model at the moment. All I really care about is, will they fix the Joy-Cons? Because it's been years.
I think that's the big thing that people want fixed.
What do you mean, the position of the right
drift?
analog, or
the drift?
No, the drift. You don't have drift? I've got drift. My left stick drifts, so Animal Crossing's fun in handheld mode because the character's always just walking slightly to the left all the time.
Oh, I don't have that.
Yeah, you will get it eventually. Every Switch.
Yeah, I haven't used it enough.
No, you know, you don't even have to use it. Genuinely, it just happens to them, even if you don't use it that much. Even my, they say the Pro controller doesn't get it, but even my Pro controller now is like drifting ever so slightly. And there's a weird thing on the Switch where every game has a completely different dead zone. So the drift doesn't even get picked up on some games, but on other games it's awful. It's like Animal Crossing has basically no dead zone. So the bad drift on my left Joy-Con gets picked up as like a run by Animal Crossing.
Maybe that's why I haven't noticed it, actually. Could be just the games.
Yeah, because I've not had it myself personally. But I've only got, you know, Mario and Zelda, so I don't know.
I mean, it takes different amounts of time to reach everyone, but it does seem like it hits every Joy-Con eventually. Because I'm only getting it on one at the moment. I don't have it on the right Joy-Con.
Yeah, I do largely use the Pro controller, but hopefully it doesn't happen that as well.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that is the big thing. I mean, hopefully that gets fixed. Hopefully that is the thing that they address if they make a new version of the Switch. But
so the Lite didn't fix it, no.
Apparently not.
Sad times.
No, I didn't. That's awful. That like your entire console's just useless if that starts drifting.
That's true.
Yeah.
Rip.
Yeah, I've not actually really seen anyone with a light because I mean I don't know why you'd want one honestly. 'Cause you can't really put it in a.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
I guess it's cheaper, but I mean, I don't know. It's not for me. I got my classic Switch right here. I can even pick it up. It's right in front of me. There it is, the bad boy.
There it is. Those
Oh.
bright red Odyssey Joy-Cons, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Listen, I saw the red Odyssey Joy-Cons and I was like, well, I know which version of the Switch I've got to have. You know me. But yeah, I mean, this could just be another rumor. We'll see what actually happens with it. But yeah, moving on. There's been some stories going around. I think we were supposed to cover this one last week, but me and Tef forgot. But there was the whole EA executives getting blocked from getting even more money pretty much after this was coming right off the whole Bobby Kotick makes too much money thing. So this was a funny one to read. It's it's a win. It's a win. It's a small win, but it's a win. I'm sure they're getting plenty anyway.
But the thing that I think is interesting about this is that it was a vote by the stockholders.
Yeah.
So even the people who have stocks in EA now are getting sick of it. And the article that you sent us about it from Kotaku makes a really, really good point that usually stockholders will encourage these bonuses for CEOs because they appreciate that they've got to keep the good CEOs in the company so that they can continue to make money. So the fact that the majority of the stockholders have turned their back on the senior management VA here, it shows just how bad it's gotten, just how much money they're taking from the company.
It's just they get away with far too much, and yeah, it's weird how that's just a thing that just seems really standard in the West. But that's the way it is.
Yeah. Money, money, money.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things,
these
especially when
companies care about
you compared to the Japanese companies and like when they take pay cuts just to like make sure everyone gets paid and stuff like that. When something goes wrong, they take like personal responsibility for it, which is cool to see. And you quite often see that comparison in the gaming industry. So it looks bad for people. So it's good. They don't need money. Okay, take it away from them. Take it all away.
I mean, it's good, especially in this day and age where we're getting these reports of people drinking the free coffee at work to stunt their appetites because they can't afford lunch and things like that.
Yeah,
these guys don't need more money; they have more than enough.
Yeah, people having to room together so they can work at prestigious game companies such as Blizzard because they can't pay rent. So
It's just evil and manipulative.
Yeah, especially in an industry where working the normal work week isn't enough. You need to also work hard on crunch and just get that game out. If you're not there for crunch, well, that's okay. You don't have to be there, but you don't have to work for the company either, guys. So yeah, that's something that happened. There's also been some more news going around with Steam, because Steam's been... This was a weird story, but it was just... I saw it pop up and I was just like, it's an interesting one to discuss, because they've been prohibiting the promotion of non-Steam launches, which, I mean, seems like a pretty normal thing for them to do, but it's only something recent they put in, and this was something that they weren't like presenting on the store page. This was like a community hub area that they'd have for their game, and they were preventing people from actually promoting the launch of it off Steam there, which I don't know what you guys think about this one. Any opinions?
I honestly can't think of any time I've ever seen a developer promoting the game being released on a different platform through Steam. Ironically, the only times I can think of it, it's not coming from the developers. It's coming from the news segments where for some reason my Steam for some reason in my experience always just seems to pull its news from Rock Paper Shotgun,
Yeah.
which funnily enough is where this news story broke. It just always seems to be Rock Paper Shotgun, and it'll appear on there in the news section that it's being released now on Epic Game Store or something like that. It's got nothing to do with the developer. It's actually Steam screwing themselves over by deciding to put that news story up in the news section. Which I know it not so much now, but in the past, in the old Steam layouts, when you clicked on a game, that news section was front and center as
Yeah.
well. So I don't know. I don't. It just seems like a non-issue with developers really doing this anyway. Um,
I mean, I'd
I mean,
seen occasionally. I think people would also promote like, you know, other versions of their game that were being launched off Steam because they couldn't launch a certain version on Steam and
right?
stuff like that.
Yes, that's true. You get like the censorship patches and stuff like that, don't you? A lot with some
Yeah, yeah.
naughty games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not Naughty Dog games.
No, not naughty. Oh God, no. It's bad enough that we got to see
Oh
one
no.
boob in The Last of Us 2. No,
Yeah, you
I will
don't
say
like
that
that.
it's no. Not Abby's weird like muscly boobs.
Okay, let's move it on.
I do think it's strange that they're doing this now when we've got this whole discourse going on that we're going to come into later
Yeah.
about platforms trying to monopolize, and now you've got Steam pulling this anti-competitive move at a time like this. It just seems a bit tone deaf, doesn't it?
They may be like, I guess maybe they've just realized because Steam, you know, takes like 5 years to do anything, and they'd be like, oh, there's an Epic Game Store now. They're actually doing pretty okay. Probably shouldn't let people advertise there. Gabe's just like, hey, go change that now. Community, get that out, take that out. Okay, we go. Okay.
I
That's
think Gabe goes, do that now, and they go, yeah, we'll get round to it because they just do whatever they want. That's
yeah,
the whole
Gabe. We'll
point of
just
the
finish
company.
Half-Life
Yeah, we'll
3
do that for you,
first. Okay, Gabe.
Gabe. You can't make that joke anymore. It actually exists now.
It's not Half-Life 3 though, is it? It's like a Half-Life
Yeah.
2.5.
Hey,
Well,
we've had
1.5, I guess, because it's in between
It's
1 and 2.
Half-Life 3. It's Half-Life 3. Let's be real.
I still want to play that. I think that'd be really. It looks like the only good VR game.
Yeah, that really does, genuinely. They've knocked it out of the park, to be fair to Valve. Never thought
Yeah.
they'd do that ever again.
Well, I
It's
mean,
good
you
to
know,
see they've still got it in them.
you don't really have to do it when you can just, you know, sit in an office all day and be like, that Steam store's doing well, right? Should we turn on the Steam sale? Yeah, we'll give it a couple of months. But yeah, I think it's just an interesting topic, especially with everything going on. But yeah, there's also some more news when it comes to exclusivity and stuff along the lines of that. We've had the Avengers game. I'm not sure if you guys have seen any footage of this, but Spider-Man is he's an Avenger, right? He's an Avenger boy. Everyone likes Spider-Man.
He is.
Well, I mean, you don't get to play Spider-Man unless you're on a PlayStation because he's exclusive.
Ooh. I get it, because that's a PS4 exclusive game.
And it's Sony.
I mean,
Oh boy.
we should have seen this coming, though, surely.
Yeah, it's Sony.
Yeah, it's Sony, isn't it? That's the end of the day. It's the whole problem. Sony have really screwed up Spider-Man for the Avengers in general. Like even in
True.
like the MCU, he's not really a real member of the Avengers. Like he's a funny side character because it took so long to get him in the Avengers in the first place with Sony.
I mean, they've
just
kind of made him
ruined
like a
Spider-Man in
main.
general.
It looks like they're trying to hand off a lot of the previous, you know, Avengers stuff to him now. But I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know.
to be fair, they are now. But
It's very
how long
shaky.
did it
So
take
with
to-
the relationship that's going on, so who knows what will happen anyway. But I don't know. It's still one of those things where it's just like exclusivity. You know, it's like I feel like Spider-Man's like one of the most well-known superheroes anyway. So it's like one of those things where it's like, you know, it's going to upset a lot of people. A lot of feathers will be ruffled. Especially considering I think a lot of people didn't really like the Avengers beta from what I understood. I don't know if any of
When
you
I
guys saw
saw
stuff
the
on this.
trailer, the game looked super meh, to be honest.
Yeah, that's the impression a lot of people got. If a lot of people described it as soulless.
Yeah, it looked like so generic. Because like the main character's like, I have some weird power, and and their attacks looked awful. It looked like an old 360 game. That's what it looked like.
What it reminded me of was it makes me want like the old X-Men games. You know the X-Men games where it was like I think it was on original Xbox. I think that's how old it was. The one I'm thinking of.
It probably would be.
And you like had like control of the 4 different ones that you could switch between. I don't remember what the game was called. It's been so long since I played that game, but it was good.
Yeah, it would have been. I think the first 360 one was Wolverine Origins, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure, which was
That was a
an
bad
interesting game. I always remember
An even better film.
Rooster Teeth just raging at that game.
Oh, you know what? That's triggered a really weird. I guess I watched that video as well. I think it was one of those Michael
rage
rage quits.
Yeah.
Because there was like a snow level and there was a bunch of mines in the snow. Why am I remembering this?
Because it was great. I just remember how dodgy that game was.
Yeah.
So janky.
But yeah, it'd be cool to see them make an X-Men game like that old one that I'm talking about, but like with the Avengers, because I think it's a really cool sort of set. I don't know what we'll actually get out of this game because it's not looking great from the onset. But
just give me Miles Morales and I'm good to go. Thanks. Rather than this.
I mean, you're getting him eventually. Just he's not going to be in Marvel Avengers, but that's fine.
It's fine. I'll get him in the game. That's good. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, is it an expansion though, or is it an actual game? I mean, we'll never know until it comes out.
Who can say?
I've played that one up though. It is an actual single player game, just to clarify.
Yeah.
But yeah, you gonna say something, Tef?
I was just gonna say this Avengers game. It's made by Crystal Dynamics, isn't it? And I think therein lies your problem. I think they're kind of losing their touch. Like they're very good at making very big bombastic games these days, but they've completely lost the ability to put any soul into the games, which I think is the problem we're having
Is that
here.
Tomb Raider?
That is Tomb Raider, yeah.
I mean, honestly, they've done an okay job with the Tomb Raider games. They're not the best games, but they're like, they feel like they've got something to them.
I'm not gonna argue that they're bad games, but I am gonna argue that they're soulless games, and that is the point I was making. Is that they've lost the ability, because Crystal Dynamics used to be really good at making games with good writing and character and soul, and like they made the Soul Reaver games, they made Legacy of Kain games, they made X, and they've completely lost that now. It's just gone. And like they can still make a good game, but I just don't think they can make it a like a charming, interesting game anymore.
Like I feel like the writing on the Tomb Raider games was, I think it was okay. I don't think it was bad. I think it had soul to it. I think it was definitely there. So I don't know. It's interesting to see how soulless the Avengers came out. I guess it's harder to write a story around the Avengers other than just like Lara, but we'll see how it actually turns out. What were you gonna say, Tef?
Well, as I know we'll come back to it later, but we've already kind of seen that there's another superhero game coming out, which looks a lot more well written and a lot more charming. But we'll come back to that. I know that's later on in our little schedule.
Yeah. Well, a comic book. Are they super? I mean,
yeah, it was very
comic
book, I guess.
We'll come back around to that though. But let's move on to Xbox now and what's been going on with them. Zif, would you like to take the lead on this one?
Xbox, excuse me.
Yeah, with the Halo Infinite.
Halo.
Halo. That is true. That's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah,
you're the Halo man.
That is your forte.
Yeah. So yeah, the main thing was that they apparently had considered dropping its support for Xbox One. Was it in its entirety?
I believe
it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's unsurprising that this is popping up because everyone's been talking about it, especially with the it's visually, its graphics not being up to par. All the graphical glitches and whatnot. As you've said, Tef, they should probably just maybe cut out some of the earlier models rather than the later ones. But it's either that or they just need to cut it out completely. I would be pretty in favor with it because I don't mind being able to play old games on a new system. But with a new system, I just feel like I'll just get the new system if I want the new games. I don't like them being held up trying to string along on old technology. But whether they actually do it or not, I don't know because I don't know how much they're going to feel the pressure, and I don't know how much pressure they're going to feel that they need to upgrade its capability, and how much time they actually have to do it anyway. I don't know what you guys think about it, but I don't know if they're actually would actually consider going through with it and just getting.
I don't think they will. I don't think they will. I mean, it's money. It's money to be made. It's a market. It's left untouched. They're gonna be like, that's what's gonna be argued, and they're gonna be like, okay, well, oh no, will it hurt the brand a little? Who knows? If the game isn't great, they don't care. Money. A little bit more to grab.
It's like Infinite you can play it on an Xbox One S. Well, it's been made clear from the way they've been talking about it that they can put the game on there. It's just gonna suffer compared to the graphics and the FPS. It's mostly about the FPS really of the like the Series X and even the One X titles, because they're not saying that they can't get Infinite running on the Xbox One S. They're just saying that they want it running at 1080p 60 frames per second. And according to these leaks, which I don't know if we mentioned, but it's from a Receptor user who has leaked correct information before on Xbox games. So there's a good chance this is true. Apparently 343 have been saying that they just can't get it. They can't even get it to stay consistently at 900p 60 FPS on the One S, because most games run at 900p 30 frames per second on the One S, don't they? And always have done ever since day one. It's never been a 1080p machine, and I think they surely won't drop it completely, because it's Microsoft are pushing this whole backwards compatibility and
they don't want to
cross-generation
hurt the
model.
image of that, because people might get the misconception. Yeah,
exactly. So I think it'll come out on the One S. It'll just end up being 900p, maybe 1080p, but it'll be 30 FPS, whereas all the other versions will be 60.
Yeah,
it's the only way they're going to be able to pull this off.
I don't know why they don't just downgrade its graphical options a bit, like a lot of games do, and then just keep the new Xbox and PC, just let them look miles better.
But I think though. I think that's why the game looks so ugly, because they're trying to get it at a point where it'll run on a One S. That's why, isn't that? I thought that was the whole reason why it's such an ugly game.
Yeah, but instead of just making it across the board ugly, even on PC, couldn't they just downgrade its graphical options on the lower console and then have it still have a higher options, better graphics on PC, because it can handle it?
Yeah, I don't think that's why the game looks the way it does. I think if they're saying that, that's an excuse.
It was also running on PC, that demo as well.
Yeah, so I think if they're like, oh well, the game doesn't look as good, it's because we had to make it work on this. That's an excuse they're using to just be like, listen guys, don't worry, when the full thing comes out, on the actual version you want, it'll be great. Don't worry.
I feel like it's actually like
pre-orders now. Pre-orders available now.
I feel like they're like, people are actually saying it looks bad. Oh, that's not good.
No, I really don't think it is. I think it makes perfect sense. They're trying to get it to run 1080p 60 frames per second on a console that has never done that. It's going to be naturally throttled by that, because you can have graphics settings, but at the end of the day, if you want it to run on a console that weak, on a console that was mid-range when it came out in 2013, you're going to have to just design the whole game around that and then add things on top in order to get it looking good for the One X. You can't start, aiming for the One X, the Series X, and then work backwards. It just wouldn't work. And it makes sense to me, and I think it also explains the bizarre art style that Infinite's got. Where it's kind of got a lot of soft lighting and soft shading that gives it a slightly kind of Fortnite-y style aesthetic.
Bit of a toy appearance.
Yeah. And they've done that for the same reason Fortnite does that, because it's it's easy on the graphics card. That art style.
I think they've
And I don't
also
think
said
that's a
they wanted
mistake.
it to look more like, they wanted it to look more like early Halo. They wanted to try and have that art style, which it wouldn't surprise me if that's actually just what they were going for and it didn't turn out the way they wanted it to.
No, I
Honestly.
disagree there.
It doesn't work with the brutes though. It
Yeah.
looks
No.
silly.
And Halo's never had soft lighting. Like Halo 3 captured the feeling of Halo 1 perfectly. And that because that had the bright
Yeah.
colours, but it didn't have soft lighting. I think that decision to give it this, like you said, as if kind of toy-like aesthetic.
Yeah,
That
they didn't look plasticky.
no, that's intentional. That is they've made it look like Valorant or like Fortnite, which is probably just because they can hide how cheap the graphics are. Like they're in that. I think that's intentional. It's in order to get it to run on the 1S, because you can have the graphics be worse, but it'll still look nice because it's stylized.
Yeah.
It's got to
I
be
mean, it's
intentional. I think.
definitely part of it. I think they did have the intention of going in and being like, we're going to try and make it look like early Halos, but they just didn't do it didn't turn out the way they wanted it to, but it was also a case of like, how can we optimize this at the same time? I think that's what they were going for. I still don't think that, the way the game looks in its current state is because the throttle and the graphics are anything just for this specific launch on that console. I don't think it's anything like that. I do think that would be an excuse, if anything. I think
I just don't agree at all. It actually looks worse than Halo 5, and there is no way that they can do that unless that was intentional.
Halo 5's
You can't make
models are actually, like, as awful as that game is, its models are just outstanding in quality.
I'm not arguing
and
that it looks
graphical
good.
fidelity.
I'm not arguing that it looks good at all. I'm just saying, like, the idea that the way the game looks right now is because they want it to run an older console is just that's an excuse, if anything. I think it's just they haven't gotten it where they want it to.
No, because this is what I mean. Like graphically, the game is worse. Like it's on a technical level, it's worse than Halo 5 was.
Yeah, but
And you can't
I'm
do
not
that
saying it's
accidentally
better.
because it's.
I'm
But I
confused.
know, but it's not even at the same level though. Like they have made it worse, and you can't do that accidentally. They've made a decision to
Especially on a
make
new
it
engine.
graphically. Exactly. Yeah, it's just doesn't. It wouldn't make sense. That's why I think it's got to be like
I mean,
you know,
we
intentional
are
choice.
overlooking that they are like pushing this back as well. So this is gonna change.
True.
So this is something they would I feel like they were pushed to throw out this trailer, and because it was just like,
Oh,
hey,
definitely.
we got to get this out, and it's like, well, it's not. They're over there being like, it's not ready. We can't put this out. But like, listen, they have to see the Halo. They have to see the Master Chef. Okay.
It doesn't mind if there's rocks disappearing and clouds vanishing. Don't worry about it. Get it out there.
But I think the game will look. It'll look much better when we actually do see it, and I don't think it was being throttled for that console. I think that was just the state the game was in when they were forced to put out the trailer. I think when it actually comes out on that console, if it does, it'll look worse on that console. But on PC or other consoles, it's gonna look a lot better.
To be fair to your point there, Zan, like that, the trailer they put out like right after that demo, the graphical fidelity was already considerably better. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it did still have that soft lighting. It just looked sharper than the full demo.
Yeah, it's been pushed back. So I think when we see it again, it'll probably have improved considerably since that
I hope so.
gameplay demo. Yeah, apparently this is a very contentious point for a lot of us.
I just want that style to be better.
Yeah, I don't know. I've not really had a lot of faith in Halo for a while, so
it's coming back.
Hopefully it does. Hopefully Infinite's really good. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I really hope you're right. I just don't believe it will be.
But
I actually like a lot of the art style. Anyway, yeah, we should move on. We can talk about Halo for
we've
hours
talked about this for a while. Let's move on to more fun topics, and that we'll all agree on.
Yeah.
Shall we talk about Rocksteady?
Oh boy!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exciting. I can't wait to talk about Rocksteady. What have my favorite games company done?
Well, Rocksteady they've tried to one up Ubisoft with the whole abuse thing.
Wow.
Apparently, there's been a lot of abuse allegations going around, and Rocksteady sat around and did nothing about it for a good while until they were called out over it. And then all of a sudden, they're like, oh, well, we brought in external people to talk with all our female employees, guys. It's okay now. So
for like one session.
Yeah. So that's what's happening at Rocksteady. So, I mean, we were talking about this the other week with Ubisoft. We were talking about how this is just something that is probably all throughout the gaming industry. It's not just Ubisoft. We're just not seeing it crop up. And here we're seeing it in Rocksteady now. Where will we see it next at this point? We probably will see a few more places pop up. There's going to be a lot of stories like this, I think. Especially now that more are coming out.
I think at this point it's pretty safe to say that probably all major AAA dev houses will have this issue. I think at this point it's probably quite safe to say that because we've seen so many now. It's clearly a industry-wide issue, which is utterly depressing.
Yeah, it is. It is just a. Like, I don't even know. I feel like just looking at individual companies is not the way to even like talk about the problem at this point because it's just so rampant, I suppose. I mean, it's something you could see at like gaming conventions years back when they used to have like booth babes and stuff, didn't they? And that was a big thing that they used to have. And then you'd have like, if you ever saw videos of these conventions, you'd always see guys in suits going around talking to them and stuff, and it was like, ugh, it was just. So I don't know. It's a big problem in the industry, and Rocksteady clearly didn't handle it very well. Apparently, no company is trying to handle it very well until they're called out on it. Because I think that the best thing that can be done is just more stories like this come out, and then EA or like whatever other company that's not done it yet is like, oh, we better cut down on this right now before Jason Schreier comes knocking at the door, or whoever.
He will find everyone. He will. Yeah. He's like the Terminator of sexual harassers.
He will find you. But yeah, that's what's been going on at Rocksteady. But don't worry, guys. There's a new game from Rocksteady. New fun game, guys. Forget about all those allegations. But they did like very swiftly after this. I guess there was the whole, what was it, the DC convention thing?
DC event.
Yeah, that came. So I guess the timing for this was just very poor because immediately after this they dropped the trailer for Suicide Squad. So we had Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, I believe is the subtitle for it.
That's right, yeah.
Which dropped it was a good trailer, I'll say that.
It's a fantastic trailer. But
yeah, it does come off the heels of all the sexual abuse allegations. So we're going to make sure to keep bringing them up while we praise the trailer. But yeah, who wants to talk about the trailer?
I'm going to talk about evil Superman.
Why is Superman evil in literally everything? Like they just like in every game now and stuff. They're just like, you know what? We've tried to make a fun Superman game. You can't just make Superman evil.
I think it's probably just because it's far more interesting than standard Superman. Because standard Superman has got to be the most boring superhero of all time.
Like
and
I've got
at this point they know that. So.
Like I know the Superman fans out there, but I don't get it. I don't get it, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's very flat and one note as a character, isn't he? So I guess making him evil gives him some depth.
Yeah, it's like, oh look, good hero character is now evil and murders people. But the trailer was really good. It looked like you had who were the characters? You had Harley Quinn, of course, because you can't make any game without Harley Quinn now. Harley Quinn's got to be in every.
Yeah.
She is like a main member of the Suicide Squad as well. You had Harley Quinn. There was King Shark. Was he one of them?
Yeah.
Captain Boomerang, I think. And then there was, I think he's called Captain Boomerang.
Oh, he's a good one.
And then there's also Deadshot. Yeah, Will Smith.
Yeah.
I've not actually watched that film.
Don't.
I've seen it.
Yeah. Good.
What were you going to say, Tef?
I genuinely, even just from this short trailer, this looks like it's way, way better in terms of writing than the film. Like, I love the
Oh
banter
yeah,
between the four of them. Like,
Yeah.
it's spot on.
yeah.
It's genuinely funny.
The writing was really good, and then honestly, it just made me want to watch the new season of The Boys because it just reminded me of The Boys so much. Just thought, I think it's because they had evil Superman at the end, and that's like, it's just like The
Homelander.
Boys. Yeah, Homelander. I don't know if you've seen The Boys, Tef, but it's good. Would recommend.
I have not.
It's very good.
I actually don't do superheroes as a general rule.
I mean,
I-
to describe this is like superheroes, but you're not following the superheroes are like the bad guys. Well, they're not the bad, but you follow them kind of, but they're like the antagonists, and you follow this group of people who are trying to kill them, and they're like the
Yeah.
protagonists.
They're like a
Oh, yeah.
Justice League, but they're actually really dodgy and corrupt behind their cult of personality. It's actually really creepy and like really dark.
Yeah. It's a lot more interesting. And then London Calling plays at the start as a butcher, just beats someone.
Best character.
Yeah. He's it's just a British guy in a trench coat who's just very angry. It's great.
With quality one-liners.
Yeah. But that's not Suicide Squad.
It does sound really similar to it, to be fair.
It does.
I see why you're drawing the comparison there.
So that's like immediately what I thought, and I was like, 4th September, can't wait to watch season 2. But yeah, it does look fun, honestly. I mean, there was like the promo poster that came out like a couple weeks back, and everyone was just like, this looks kind of meh. But
Didn't grab my attention at all at that point.
yeah. But dropping this is interesting. Again, we've not seen gameplay. It looks like it's gonna maybe be 4-player. They didn't really show anyone else off from the Suicide Squad, so it made it look like it was just the 4 of them, which is interesting. I feel like, I don't know who was actually in the Suicide Squad film, because it was odd that they had King Shark.
Isn't the Suicide Squad? Isn't he?
He's not in the Suicide Squad.
He's not supposed to be. They just threw him in that film.
Oh, okay, that makes sense then. I thought it was strange that there's no like mention of him.
I think King Shark was like a weird one to see, because I don't think he was in the film, was he?
He wasn't. No, they had the pyro guy.
They have Captain Boomerang in there either.
El
I don't think
Diablo,
I'm
whatever the
thinking
fuck
of it now.
it's called. He was in it.
Oh, okay.
I kind of zoned out for most of the film, honestly.
Yeah, I didn't
So
watch it, so
really-
I just found it weird that King Shark was in there. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I feel like you're gonna fought Zif, but it's not coming out.
Yeah, I was just thinking if he was the one that they like bait killed at the beginning of the film, but I don't think it was. It was the guy who like zips away or whatever. Unless it was Boomerang. I don't think it was. They like set someone up to be one of the main characters, and he got like detonated early on. Just like flip you guys, and then they just detonated the chip in the head.
Yeah.
It might have been Boomerang. That might be why he's not in the rest of the film. I don't think. But yeah, he's a cool character either way. But yeah, it's a bit random seeing King Shark.
Yeah, I guess he's in the Suicide Squad. I've not really seen
I don't
him.
actually know enough about it,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Like, I'm surprised I even knew the characters. Like, I don't know where I pulled that knowledge from, but I pulled it from somewhere. But yeah,
I think there's
mean,
like quite a heavy roster that they switch between, so
yeah. I mean, you got to when you're blowing some of them up every now and then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it looks fun. But also, abuse in Rocksteady. There's a lot of abuse going on. It's we should definitely mention that over and over again while we talk about this game, this trailer.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Definitely saw it quite a lot, really.
But yeah. Let's move on to something more fun, more lighthearted, Let's talk about,
Lawsuits.
versing the man, going against the man. So there's been the whole Epic versus Apple thing that went on. There's been a lot going on around that. We did talk about it last week, didn't we, Tef?
We did, yeah.
But it's escalated a bit. So now Apple are terminating Epic developer tools, which also means Unreal Engine games. So Unreal Engine games are not allowed on their platform, which is a big thing. and it's caused a lot of outcry. This is a thing that's gonna hurt a lot of developers, and it's one of those things where
Huge amount.
it's hard to side with like either of them when it's like, you know, if Epic hadn't done that, you know, all these devs would be fine. But if you know, if Apple went, you know, taking 30% and of these developers' livelihoods, then everyone would be fine. It's one of those things where it's just two big companies, you know, whacking each other while a bunch of like smaller devs are stuck in the middle getting beat, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's where we're at.
Yeah, I can't. At the same time, no, I think this is something that needs to be done. This whole walled garden with Google Play and the App Store. I think something does need to be done about it. It's unfortunate that people have to be caught in the crossfire, but the fact that they have removed the Unreal SDK just proves that Apple have too much power, and we can't allow that to continue because it will just blow up in developers' faces again in the future.
Yeah, it's one of those things where
It's tyrannical, is what it is.
at the end of the day, it's better that Epic come out on top with this, even if I don't in any way believe they're doing this out of, you know, out of their own goodwill. You know, I believe this is just like, hey, so we can set up our own store then, and then we can bring people in. This is free PR for them. They're having a good time, and but the Unreal Engine and developer tools just getting blocked, terminated from the platform is just. That's a big thing, and I don't know. It is scary that they have that much power over something like that.
Yeah, it shouldn't be allowed. So something does have to be done. And you're right. I don't really agree with Epic on this whole situation, because I know that they're like you said, they're not doing it out of the good of their hearts. But I am glad that they're stepping up to the plate because something needs to be done. And of course, they're not the only company getting involved
No,
now,
they're
are
not.
they?
Because Microsoft even backed Epic's request for a restraining order.
It's weird wording on that.
I don't know. The PC Gamer just don't know how to write clever headlines or something. I don't know what's going on over there. I don't know who vetted that and was like, hey, yeah, that's good. But yeah, Microsoft have backed Epic on this now, so that's an interesting move to say.
It's
I guess
true Clash of Titans now.
It is.
Yeah. And there's just going to be a bunch of smaller devs and people in the middle that are just going to get beaten to a pulp as this goes on.
It's not fair, but I think things will be better in the long term if we can actually, you know, use some of the antitrust laws that are supposed to be in place to stop Apple from being able to do this anyway. Because it's tyrannical that they've removed the Unreal Engine anyway. They should not.
I feel
be
like
able
that
to do that.
goes against going against them as well in the case. I think that's something that's probably going to be brought up.
100%. They've proven Epic's point for them by doing that. It's just it's evil and it's tyrannical and quite frankly, it's just petty, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's not forget all these big companies are just petty executives just being like, all right, you want to do this? I mean, even the way that they filed this or they set up for this lawsuit, they were prepared for this. They baited them in. They had the whole Fortnite trailer thing set up. They had like the free Fortnite tournament that they did. It's all been very petty. They're like having a laugh out of it as well.
Oh, definitely. Like, yeah, it's crazy that this was clearly all pre-planned. It's just insane. But it's got to be done. Something has to be done. I'm usually quite a big fan of Apple, and I know a lot of people don't like Apple, and I'll usually be the first to defend them.
How dare you?
They actually do a lot of.
You Apple chill.
I'm an absolute chill. I am. A lot of people don't like them, but I have a lot of respect for Apple
Down
most
with
of the
the man.
time. But this is this is just indefensible. It really is. It's like there's no excuse for the way they're acting. It's just petty. I know, yeah, like you said, Epic are being really petty too, and the fact that they pre-planned this, it does just come across as childish. Really.
Yeah.
The stupid, the fact that they had a trailer to drop for their lawsuit, it's just pathetic. But Apple are being tyrannical.
Got them a lot of good press on Twitter though. Twitter loves stuff like that.
Yeah, well, Twitter will lap anything up, won't they? Good old Twitter.
Yeah.
Trust them to completely miss the point of the situation.
I mean, I think a lot of people have like it's one of those things where it's like some people have just been like Epic good, Apple bad. You know, it's one of those things where people aren't really looking into it too much because I mean most people don't. They don't really think for themselves that much. But it's going to be an interesting one to see where it goes because let's be honest, Apple have an army of lawyers. Microsoft and Epic probably has an army of lawyers at this point as well. Let's not forget how big Epic are at this point.
True. Apple's lawyers are like a real elite core.
Oh yeah,
they get sued all the time.
Oh yeah,
and they love
getting sued. Suing is like half their business, you know.
That's all they do.
But yeah, any final thoughts on this, Zif, Tef?
Not massively. It's just standard company bickering and battling over something that's just hurting everyone else in the industry. I don't know what the outcome's gonna be. I just hope it's a fairly positive one.
Yeah, and at the end of it, I hope it, like Epic, you know, manages to come out on top, and then you know all the devs that suffered will get their 30% cut.
If only.
I mean,
I just wish it was someone or anyone other than Epic to break the Play Store and the App Store's stranglehold over mobiles. I just wish it was someone else to break it rather than Epic benefiting off it.
I mean, let's be honest. If anyone was gonna do it, it has to be a big company, and at the end of the day,
needs to be as big. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you're a big company, you're gonna want to profit off it in some way. There's got to be a business reason to do it. So, yeah, that's the last news story of the day, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, is there one more? Did I miss one? Sounded very surprised.
So, actually. No, it just seemed sudden. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I did actually just see something on Twitter, breaking news. But it's like YouTube drama.
Oh, God.
Yeah, breaking news. YouTube PR has confirmed the Leafy's ban is permanent. And the world rejoiced. Nothing of value was lost. But yeah, that is it for today anyway. So yeah, I didn't get a dig in at Twitch this week, but you know, YouTube should really flick a switch.
Twitch is shit, never forget.
You've still got 30 seconds.
Yeah, YouTube should flick a switch it all over. You know, you already got Dr. Respect on the platform. You got a lot more. Just bring over more streamers. Easy peasy. YouTube wins the streamer war. Okay, that's me done.
Right, that's it.
All right, so
why are you still here? Shroud's online. Go watch him instead.
All right, so that is the end of the 15th episode of the podcast. So let's start with you, Tef. Where can they find you? Where can they go to see what you're all about? Tweeter.
I'm on Twitter. That's where I put all of my gaming and featuring on your stupid podcast stuff.
Well, you were trying to break out into song then? I don't know where you were going with that.
Strong.
I almost said strong, didn't I?
Right, yes, I'm twitter.com/Teffers. That is my handle, Teffers, because Teffrian is stolen, and I will complain every week until justice is brought to them.
File a lawsuit. Drop a trailer for it as well.
Oh my god! And I'll make it an 80s. I'll make it an 80s Apple reference that none of my demographic will get because they're all about 9 years old.
Yeah. I mean, if it worked for Epic, most of their demographics like 8 years old, so.
Somehow it did work. I might go play Unreal Tournament after this. Last good game on Epic ever made.
All right, fair enough.
21 years.
It's been a while. But
Epic made Gears of War, didn't they? I hate Gears of War. Sorry, carry on.
I like how you needed to get the point in that I hate Gears of War. But yeah, okay. Well, that's where you can find Tef. But where can they find the Ziflock himself? Are you up to anything? I hear you've been doing the streams on twitch.tv/Ziflock.
I have literally that link right there. I have been doing the streams. I've been trying to get back into a little of it. Mostly just Total War Troy at the moment. Not gonna lie, wish you could stream Ghost of Tsushima, but what can you do? Yeah, I've mostly just been streaming Total War. I'm kind of on a Total War binge at the moment. I think I was planning to do some other game, whether I do Yakuza, but I might end up just doing that off stream.
Yakuza's a good one.
It'll probably take a fair while to get through.
I did it all on stream.
You did, and it felt like it went on forever.
It was a lot of fun though.
Yeah, your first Yakuza game is so long because it's all new to you, and you just do all the side stuff.
Mine was also 0, so that helped.
Yeah.
Zero's got a lot of content, even by Yakuza standards.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just mostly doing Total War at the moment. But I've got more streams these days, so that's mainly where you can find me at the moment.
Any YouTube stuff planned? You got any of that stuff on the horizon?
Not really at the moment. I wish I could, but CK3 comes out this Monday, so I'm just gonna probably binge stream that. It does.
I had no idea. Oh, for God's sake, another thing to buy.
I'm probably gonna do a massive stream of that if I can, and stream it as much as humanly possible.
Sounds like a video.
Get videos made on it, but I never get the flipping time. But I'll try my best.
All right.
But I am also just Ziflock on YouTube if I do get around to that content.
All right, fair enough. And of course, there's myself. You probably know me. If you hear, it's Twitch on Zanrise. It's YouTube, I'm Zanrise. Twitter, Zan Games. The real Zanrise on Instagram. But you probably know me already. And also, if you perhaps missed the live version of the podcast, or if you prefer to listen in an audio format, we're now available on Spotify and iTunes, so make sure to go check that out, and you can listen to us on the go. But yeah, that is the 15th episode of the show. We are still going. No one can stop us. Going to continue to complain about Ubisoft, and now Rocksteady is also on the list. I'm just making a list as I go, and I'm just going to bring them up every podcast in some form or another. So, thank you for joining me, Tef and Zif. We'll be back next Monday with the 16th episode of the podcast. And yeah, that is it. That is us done. So, thank you for watching, everyone, and we'll see you all next week. Bonsoir.
Farewell.